Is Sabo like the Goku Black?
There's no Goku Blacks in this.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I think it's clap too. But
Oh, my bad.
No, it's all good. I already did. Oh, cool. I'm just gonna continue from here.
Cool.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Panic Brothers channel. I am Simon, one of your hosts, accompanied by my best friend and other co-host, Josue. And the pandemic still surges on pretty strongly. I know that a lot of people have been trying to binge watch and trying to catch up with more television and whatever they can during the pandemic. And I think that one of the biggest ones, in the anime community at least, is One Piece. A lot of people...
No better time to catch up on One Piece.
No, literally, I think a lot of people have come to that logic of like, well, I've always said, like, I'll never do it, but I really got nothing else to do now, so...
gotta do it.
Every day, my TikTok, my Instagram, like, everything I see memes about this, people watching it first time and their reactions, and I'm loving it. But similar to that, I got you to finally jump on and read it, so you're finally going through it. And last time we talked about you going through the whole East Blue saga, and I think now you just finished... You finished it entirely, right, Alabasta?
Yeah, I finished all of it already.
Cool. So yeah, you finished the entirety of Alabasta. So I was curious to see what your impressions are, what you liked, what you didn't like, and curious to see what you think would happen in the future based off what's happened here in Alabasta.
This is our first introduction to the Grand Line.
Yep.
And it definitely feels like the stakes are way higher. Like I got to the point already where, like, I remember I had a conversation with you where I was like, yo, but Don Krieg is that dude. Like, I don't understand. And now I realize why he got, like, decimated. Like, he wouldn't last a second.
A second, bro.
And it's so crazy because I actually would believe Buggy lasting longer here.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, at least his devil fruit can get him, like, further than just Don Krieg using cheap tactics.
Exactly. Like, it's like you can't last in the Grand Line if you don't have a devil fruit dude on your squad, essentially.
Dude, alone just going through the reverse mountain, you saw how hard that was. They barely got through that. Like, I don't even know how to this day they honestly got through that. Their ship should have broken.
Reverse mountain felt like the litmus test. It's like, if you can't pass that, don't even think about trying to pass the rest.
Yeah, no.
That's how it felt.
Like, or you just die, like, straight
exactly,
up.
Like, and then what, you're introduced to yeah, exactly. Like, that's what you're introduced to, and it's like, bro, how do you literally, this is what you're introduced to. Like,
yeah, like, you go from local East Blue to whale the size of, like, an island.
Yeah.
With its own environment inside itself. Like, if that's the entry point and you can't even get past this whale, what are you gonna do when you get to the first island, dude?
Exactly. And not to mention that they saw, like, there was, like, a chapter where they just saw, like, sea kings. And it's like, like, at this point, I'm sure eventually, like, they get strong enough to, like,
take them on.
But, like, right now, like,
they
were
can't.
Like, oh, okay, no.
Avoid all that.
Exactly.
Avoid all that.
Exactly. Like, it was, so, like, it was a really cool introduction to, like, how intense things are going to be. Like, it was very much like, the Grand Line is no joke. East Blue was the death, like you said it, like, it's like the prologue.
Yeah.
And it was very much like, this is the prologue. Like, this is like the minor leagues. Get ready for the major leagues. Like, that's how it felt like to me. So it was a really cool introduction. I will say, like, when we were introduced to Vivi, and she wasn't even introduced to us as Vivi, she was introduced to us as Miss Wednesday. Yo, I never would have thought how important she would be.
You thought, like, this is just a regular bad villain, like, not even like a henchman. We just
exactly, and it's like, oh, 1, 2, like, forget about it. No, but I'll give credit where credit is due. Oda Oda definitely finds a way to just make like change your expectations. Like, and he's done that multiple times already. And this is one of those where I thought, oh, Miss Wednesday just is like in every shonen is just whatever, like,
yeah, just like it's a quick beat 'em up, and then you work your way up to the final boss.
Exactly. But then we go to the next arc, which was definitely like a real proper introduction to how dangerous the Grand Line can get, which is Whiskey Peak. And we're like, oh, by the way, Miss Wednesday is like the princess of a country. What the fuck? Yeah. And it's like, and now this is a whole return the princess back, go back to the country. Like, I was introduced to like the whole stakes at hand. Like, when I came into this saga, Alabasta, all I know is that Alabasta is the sand country that you told me about. That's all I knew. Sand country. I'm like,
that's why you expect a giant desert, and that was it.
Exactly. I didn't know what was gonna happen at Alabasta, but it was really interesting how like they kept prepping up what to expect. They said at the very beginning, they said, yo, Alabasta is currently going through sort of like a civil war. And it's being like proprieted by the leader of this Baroque Works.
Baroque Works, yep.
Like, they really tell you what's happening in the very beginning, and now it's just a race to get there. Luffy and Vivi and the rest of the Straw Hats.
Do they mention? I think they do. I think they mention at Whiskey Peak that the head of the Baroque Works is a Warlord of the Sea.
Yeah,
they do, right? Okay,
cool. I got so confused so many times because like I was here thinking like I didn't know what the difference was between a Warlord of the Sea and the Chichibukai. I didn't know they were the same thing.
Okay, I was wondering because for a long time I was like, so you know the crocodiles won the 7, right? Like the 7, big pirates you should be aware of, and you were like, no. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I think it seems I didn't use the right proper term.
Yeah, because like I hear two different terms, so they're the same thing: Shichibukai and Warlord of the Sea. Because like in the manga that I'm reading, they keep saying Shichibukai.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
so that's what you're expecting, like, okay, so that's what they're called, not a Warlord of the Sea.
And then I know Water 7 is an upcoming saga, so I kept thinking, oh, so the 7 Warlords of the Sea will be Water 7, and then Shichibukai is who we're dealing with.
It's gotta connect, bro.
This right here is my favorite thing ever in the history of forever. I think about this every day.
And then I'm like, wait, they're the same thing, so what's going on? He's that dude, like, don't mess with him, he's the strongest in the universe. And like that's how it was sort of felt like with this, like, crocodile is that dude, he's the strongest, like not anybody can take him on, otherwise we would have been done it a long time ago. Like, and then it was also cool because they set it up early also that the top 5, like Mr. 6 and above are nobodies, no one cares, you can scrape them. Mr. 5 and lower, those are the real dudes.
Those are the real boys. I think they were called something officers. I could have sworn they had names. I think there was like the frontier officers and like the something officers.
They refer to like millions and billions.
And billions or the henchmen, yeah.
I kind of didn't like pay attention too much to that. Like I
mean, you don't really need to care about that.
Yeah, I figured. I was like, I'm not gonna worry too much about the organizational structure. Like,
wait, hold on, but how did Crocodile make this work?
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, it's kind of funny, low key. I sometimes laugh to myself because I'm like, Crocodile's like this. You know him by now. He's a very serious dude. He's very evil. But I love to think that it's funny that he really set up an organization where he's like, all right, I'm gonna make some puns here. So I'm gonna have some names, some numbers, and I'll have like a funny little duel between Friday and 13th, and it'll be like, really comically like relieving. I'm like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, I don't know. We were introduced to Mr. 5, who can make like snot, like explosives. I wasn't expecting that. I think the power was more so he can make any part of his body explode.
Yeah, but he uses snot.
But he just just snot booger. Like, that's like the main takeaway.
It's such an Oda thing to do.
Yeah, it is. It is. We're introduced to Mr. 4. No, we don't. No, we're not introduced to Mr. 4. My bad. Introduced to Mr. 5 and his partner, and then later on we get to.
Hold on. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. There is like I've been watching Totally Not Mark's videos, and I will say that I agree with him on this one point where Luffy and Zoro fight.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. What do you think about that? Because I think I never really paid much, because I was also really young when this came out. So around the Whiskey Peak era, I thought I was like, oh cool, Zoro and Sanji are fighting.
Yeah.
I mean Zoro and Luffy are fighting. So I got like really hype. But looking at it now, I guess like Totally Mark does have a point where it's like it's weird.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I read it and I was just reading it and I'm like, well, this seems forced. Like, that's how I felt. Like I was like,
this seems forced.
Yeah, I was like, this is what is?
It's out of nature.
Yeah, it was out of like it was just weird. Like out of all the reasons, like knowing Luffy by this point, it felt like Luffy would need a better reason to try to fight Zoro.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense because Nami screwed them over and he still like gave her a chance and still like, no, she's good.
Yeah, exactly.
But then as soon as like he just assumed that Zoro was being bad, he was like, oh, I gotta beat him up now.
Yeah, like if there was anybody that you should have messed up, it would have been Nami. You should have fought Nami.
Yeah.
But like Zoro, I don't know, man. It was just like a weird little thing. I will say my favorite part about Whiskey Peak, I think, wasn't even like the fighting or anything. I thought it was so masterful how Sanji was kept in the background. Like they never ever knew about Sanji and like
or Usopp. I love that a lot. That both of them were never. I think Friday was the one or 13. I can't remember which one was that drew up the wanted posters for them, but didn't know about Usopp's existence. That was genius writing for the next arc.
No, not even the next arc. The entire saga. Because
actually,
this was in the beginning of the saga, and it kept on playing. Like there was a reason for it, and it lasted until we got to Alabasta, and I thought that was so genius. Like I was really like the next arc, which is Little Island. By the way, I love this arc. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, Little Garden's a great arc.
My bad.
No, you're good. It's a great arc. So I think it does a lot of cool small things while not taking too much time away from the main plot heading to Alabasta.
Yeah. My approach to One Piece, reading One Piece, is trying my best to read 10 chapters a day. I think Little Garden was the first time me reading this where I didn't care about my limit. I was like, I'm gonna keep on reading more. Like I don't know what it was about Little Garden. Actually, you know what? I kind of do. It was just the set pieces, the action. Like I really loved what they were doing. And like I said, it was Sanji. I'm pretty sure like you got the vibe from me. Like I didn't really care about Sanji all that much. Like
you told me like this character's meant to me.
Yeah, like I hate his design. Like it's better to me now, I guess, because I like him more. But when he was first introduced, I hated his design.
Yeah.
Oda. The thing about Oda is that I can't stand the way he designs his characters, but I always look past it because he's a master storyteller. Like his storytelling comes first, and then the designs.
Yeah, then the design come later. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't care about the designs. If you have a amazing story to tell, give it to me.
Then cool, I'll read it.
Exactly. And that's what happens here with Sanji. Like the story here was like, holy crap. Like what we were introduced to in Whiskey Peak with how Sanji was just in the background, who was sleeping the entire time. It plays a part because at the beginning of Little Garden, Sanji's out of the picture again. And I was really here like, Oda, did you just forget about this dude?
Nope.
Yes, but that was what I was thinking. Like I'm like, dude.
No, exactly.
Like,
and I think he does that. I think he does that for a reason because I think typically animes would do that.
Yeah.
And I think he's trying his best to make sure the reader has no idea what's about to happen.
Exactly. That's again how Oda just subverts expectations because when we finally had this grand battle where it was really just Luffy and Usopp, which I love. I love that it was the two of them. Like you would have thought it would be like it was gonna be Zoro in the battle, Nami was gonna find a way to be in there. And Vivi also, but no, those three characters are in this freaking wax cake, and it's
which also where we also forgot to mention that Mr. 3 shows up. But yeah, go ahead.
Mr. 3 was the wildest design, by the way. I thought
his power and design are so freaking funny to me.
His design, I thought he had the worst design, and then Mr. 2 showed up, and I was like, oh, okay, I don't know what.
So we're just drawing anybody.
Yeah, we're just doing whatever we want to do now. I will say that it's hilarious. I hated it at first, but I thought it was hilarious as it went on with the 3. Like
the 3, everywhere he goes, he always has a 3.
Yeah, he's proud of it. He's proud that he's number 3.
You know how much gel that takes, bro, to keep that?
100%. Oh my god! But it was really just Luffy and Usopp. for against what? It was 2v4.
Was it 5 in Valentine?
Yeah. It
okay,
was 5
so 5 Valentine, 3 in Golden Week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I was here like, dude, like, I know Luffy's like strong, but he's not strong enough to go against like these 4. And Usopp. Yeah. I mean, come on.
I don't feel like, do I really have to say
like,
it, bro?
You know, like, I like Usopp. I really do. He's a great character.
But he's not a fighter. He's not. I mean, he can come up with something to delay or like to get by, but he's not gonna be the one to beat the final boss.
Yeah, I've always looked at him like if I got to compare it to the last Airbender, it's like Sokka. Like Sokka would definitely like figure out a way to be relevant, but
without Aang and the backup firepower, what's he gonna do?
Exactly. Like, come on, like Usopp, please leave. Like, don't
go.
But what I liked about this is that there was no choice. It needed to be Luffy and Usopp. There was nobody else. I thought this entire time, I thought, all right, when is Sanji gonna come here? Like, Sanji's gonna
save
mess
the day.
him up. Sanji never did, and I love that. That was so freaking good. Cause where was he? Like he went to the freaking he went to Mr.
3. He went to Mr. 3's candle house.
Yeah, he went to his crib and was just chilling. And I'm like
sipping on tea, just like, damn, this is crazy. Nice
he had no idea what was going on, and once again he was off their radar the entire time. And that's, oh my god, he got on a phone call with Croc.
That's my favorite part. So I know Mark mentions how great this is, but that's one of the best parts of the whole arc, because it shows how quick Sanji is with his thinking. So Mr. Crocodile calls. He doesn't even know who Crocodile is. He doesn't know anything going on. And Crocodile immediately assumes Sanji's Mr. 3. And Sanji's like, I can either tell the truth, but I mean, we're pirates and we're wanted. So I'm just going to play on with this. Like, yeah, I'm Mr. 3. Yeah, everything's cool. Don't even worry about it. Which makes it so much easier for them, because when they go to Alabasta, Crocodile assumes, all right, all that Straw Hat shit, it's probably gone. Like, they're not even coming to the country.
Dude.
It's genius.
That's all it is. It's just genius. Like, I was just... Little Garden was my favorite arc up until that point. Like, based on everything that I read, I'm like, Little Garden, this is good stuff. This is some good stuff here. Like, this was just some really good stuff. This was the moment for me that, like I really liked everything that I read so far in One Piece. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm like, this is some good stuff. But this was finally, like, that point for me. I'm not really sure why, but I was just like...
Oh, yeah, I'm in it now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, for me, every time I've watched a shonen, I need to get to that point where I'm like, yeah, what's going to happen now? Yeah, what's up? But this was the moment for me. I don't know what it was about this, but, like, just having this setup where it was 3 of them locked up. Another one, your third strongest fighter is just not in the picture, because he's just...
Not to mention, one of the 3 that's locked up is the second strongest.
Exactly.
And he's just there, just like, well, I guess this is the end. And you're like, yo, what the hell is going to happen?
And then your strongest fighter is really just... As strong as he is, it's 1v4.
Yeah, he's struggling.
2v4, but
it's 1v4. He's struggling.
He's struggling, like... Yeah. And that's why I'm like, yo, these stakes right now, like, I love... how Oda keeps doing this, where I'm just like, I don't know how they're gonna pull this out.
But I know they're gonna get through it, but I just don't. I can't predict how it's gonna happen.
There's almost 1,000 chapters. There's 1,000 chapters right now.
Actually, they can't die right here.
When is
we're about to hit 1,000. We're at 999 at the time of this recording.
But yeah, by the time this comes out, so I'll say over 1,000.
Yeah.
There's over 1,000 chapters of One Piece. Like
yeah, like
they survive.
There's no way a single one of these guys die by now.
Exactly, but like I'll just hear like, damn, but I really do wonder how they get out of this. And with Usopp and the fire, I thought that was like, this is awesome. Like,
genius.
This is so cool. The only thing is like the fan service with Nami, like her shirt getting burnt off. I'm like, of course.
I think that's the beginning of the end for. I think that's the beginning of the end for Nami's normal innocence, I should say. Because there's not really much of that really before. You don't really see Nami shirtless before that. Honestly, it's gonna happen a lot more.
This is the first time I was surprised. I was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, so it's starting.
This is happening. Yep.
Okay.
And then it didn't get any better with Mr. 2.
Nope.
When Mr. 2 was introduced, and
he just straight up went whoop.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, yeah,
okay.
we're doing it.
All right, we're full diving.
At the end of Alabasta 2, and I was like, yeah,
yep.
Okay.
I see where we're going.
Yep.
Also, the last thing I want to mention about Little
Garden.
Little Garden I like a lot is that this is something that you would never notice, but I already brought it up to you before. Is that Elbaf is really important, and we finally get to see what giants are. We didn't know what giants were before that, and Usopp's talked about meeting brave warriors. But like you think when you hear that, you're just like, oh, it's the generic goal. He wants to be a brave warrior, yeah, whatever. But then what's really cool in Little Garden is you meet the giants, and they're from Elbaf, an island of warriors. And Usopp was really into it. He's talking to him. You start realizing, oh shit, Usopp actually has a legitimate goal. He really wants to get to this island and actually become a warrior. It's not just like, oh, I just want to become brave. It's not generic. It actually has an end specific goal to it. And it's really cool because we're at chapter like 1000 by now, and we're still not at Elbaf. We're gonna get there, but we're not there yet. So it's really cool to see way back in like the chapter hundreds that Oda's still planning this. Yeah, it's crazy.
The seeds are planted. I didn't even like realize that, and I think like I saw like a map of like the One Piece world, and I was like, Elbaf is like relevant.
All the way.
Like I was here thinking like that was just like the giants like just talking about their
that's what you would think, because in normal shonen it'd be like, they just come from the island, cool, whatever, like I'm never gonna say the island, but no, it's relevant, and they're gonna get there.
Yeah, it's extremely relevant. So no, I'm a big fan of that. I'm really excited to see when they finally get there, like when I finally get to that point. But I didn't even mention the giants. The giants were great too.
Yeah, the giants are great characters. I love them.
Yeah, I really love that moment where like he personally couldn't accept a defeat. Like he knew that it was like cheating. And he was just like, it just feels wrong, and like he was like crying. I will say that I kind of wish he was dead. Like I'm not gonna lie, like the other giant.
So it had a bigger impact.
Yeah. Like I kind of wish he just stayed dead. But then he was like, at the end, he's like, "Hey, ¿qué pasó?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Okay, that's One Piece. Everyone just comes back.
Yeah, I will say though that I really, if there's anything that I really did like was that like those giant mountains that we were introduced to when we first saw the garden ended up being like the entire reason why they like. I like that. Like it's like the skeletons of like the giant. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, like, that's a nice little twist to it, because you never would expect that when you see the island. Like, oh, it's just an island full of giant mountains. Yeah,
but no, it's like nope. Even these mountains are like relevant, and I was like, that's so cool.
It's nice because stuff like that, I think, because in these Blue you don't really see culture or history on islands. You just see people from islands. And the Grand Line is where Oda really starts to get really experimental with. I'm going to start dealing with island culture and history. And I think places like Little Garden and then even Drum Island start showing you weather, culture, history of an island. And then set you up for Alabasta, which is the big, this is a whole nation, bro. I love how he sprinkles that in there. Like, every single island you're going to go to has a history behind it.
Yeah. Because I know for a fact, I don't know what that piece of paper is gonna do, but I know for a fact Luffy has it on him. But like to me, I'm like, well, he's gonna fucking write down like NFL scores on that shit. I don't know what the fuck. You know?
I forgot that even happened.
Yeah.
Gee, I love Oda.
Seeds planted.
I fucking love Oda.
I'm just gonna, you know what? If it's not Luffy's dad, then I really thought that Zoro was gonna stay behind too, because Zoro was like kind of like. Should I?